know how I do.
Let's get cracking!
Welcome back, everybody, here to your coverage of the D2CL on what we hope to be a stable stream and not a double part VOD, as we're going into our second series of the night. Now, last game is for the night as well. It's going to be virtus.pro going up against Cloud at 9. I'll be your host for the English live stream, Toby1, and let's just get ourselves into it. The draft's already underway, and a man that always seems to appear when I cast this team is my co-caster for tonight and coach of Cloud9, Clairvoyance. Welcome to the broadcast, man.
Yeah, it's good to be here once again, and as you said, Cloud9 is the team that I end up casting because I'm usually with them throughout the durations of the day, and here we are facing up against VP, who last time, if you recall, Toby, pretty much decimated us in a very, very quick and a snappy game.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I don't think your
Tinker may or may not have an involvement in that, but regardless, you know, VP, I've been looking at their stats recently, and they lost the 2 BO3s coming into this match, but besides that fact, they not only won one game each in those best of threes, but they also won a lot with Tinker as well. Not only against us, but against other teams. So it was notable to put that down. And of course, VP, their other favorite heroes seem to be the Razor and the Death Prophet first picks. I don't expect them to get Furion as a follow-up though. And as I say that, Cloud9 has already taken that out of the picture.
Yeah, now making sure VP just can't force the issue galore. I want to pick your brain about this now, man. The Lycan pick or ban. It seems to be slipping through. When you don't have the Radiant, when you don't have the Dynasty advantage, it seems to be like, okay, well, we might let this through. But is Lycan really the be-all, end-all hero that he used to be? I know you guys have been using him in combination too. I'm noticing too the VPF and banned out the Visage. But you have like a Drow, Visage, and Lycan combination, which is rather brutal. But is Lycan really like phasing off for the good reasons?
Honestly, it's so hard to tell with this metagame in general. Like, the heroes are kind of like, there are certain ones that kind of do all these multiple functions that they shouldn't really be able to do, and then there are these heroes that they might not be the best individually, but when you put them in a lineup, they just become so fantastic and hard to deal with. Now the thing with Lycan is, like, I guess lately, as you say, it's been getting through the pool here and there, and there seems to be solutions for it in the sense that the enemy team just finds a way to shut it down in the early stages. And that's always, like, the thing is, that's always been possible. You know, there's no hero that you actually just say, like, okay, it's impossible to beat. As soon as they pick the hero, we lose. And all of a sudden, that would either make first pick imbalance or every game very stale because the bans would be repetitive. But, like, the hero still does give a lot. And the thing with this kind of metagame is, our metagame, you know, it's a TI involved metagame, which means that there are a lot more matches that we witnessed and a lot more opportunities for changes. Or maybe perhaps I should say it the other way, a lot less opportunity for changes as well. So in time, you will just see a natural occurrence of events where things will change around every now and then. And I still think the hero is incredibly powerful. When it comes to banning, it's always something to look out for.
Well, I'm still holding out my judgment on the Lycan to see if, like, with a combo lineup, I can feel it working. With pushing into towers, I don't feel it as much. I like the way Resolution played the other night when he played in the D2CL game, and it was just as simple. Like you knew extra buff ups for the rest of his teammates, but the second he got a little bit of farm, it was straight into that armlet build. Like BKB and armlet, and just really getting the mix up and fight. None of this we wait to push kind of thing. There's just so many other heroes that seem to do the push better than the Lycan.
I think like the Lycan hero really comes to full form along with Viper. Like those heroes really come to full form when sometimes Russians and mostly the Chinese, when those teams play it. That's when you see like the real potential of these anchor 5-man / pushing heroes that have like a semi-decent effectiveness when it comes to trying to split the enemy up. Like Lycan, for example, is very great at split pushing, But when it comes to trying to split up the opponents and you're going up against cores on even farm, you know, he can't always zone them out. So you really need an early advantage. And the way the Chinese remedy that is just by 5-manning really early. They always safe lane the Lycan every opportunity they can get. Get him that early level 5, get him that early Vladimirs, and then all of a sudden towers start getting wrecked and you don't really have a response because they have too much damage. So, like, yeah, the Chinese and Russians, they tend to 5-man and fight a lot more. Cloud9, it's a different team when it comes to using Lycan. The way we play Lycan is to try and actually win the laning phase, which is, I guess, Lycan's biggest point of vulnerability, and then just go from there.
A Dazzle pickup now coming up from C9. I know I've seen combinations with like SD Dazzle, because then you're able to get like the surround around. You get like the bonus heal like burst damage you get from that. But unless they're going to be running a Skywrath Mage as a core in this game, that's not going to be happening in this match. I suppose you could just have the wall sitting next to him, but even then.
Cloud9's turn to pick.
I think that Dazzle pick was relatively early, and I'm not too sure exactly what it is. Because when you pick up the second support like that right after your Skywrath, it's probably a support Skywrath, then what's going to happen is it either forces that core potential, which is unlikely, or it tells the enemy that like our gank potential is extremely weak. The best we can do is Dazzle's really, really good at zoning targets, and so is Skywrath. But aside from that, if they don't find their initial levels, I don't really see the fights going in our favor. And that Gyrocopter pick is an experimental pick that I personally didn't expect, but looks like we're going to see it here.
Experimental? Because I remember Fader playing that Gyrocopter in the mid solo for a very long time.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's experimental now, right? I mean, that was a while ago. When you
experimental for Cloud9. For Fader, yes. Like, he was the man that was singing the praises of a Gyro solo mid. Loved the living crap out of it. But
yeah, so
the other boys aren't as convinced as of the Gyro mid.
Well, I'm certainly not convinced because I haven't seen it much, but I would say it's a good place to start with. They have a lot of good fighting heroes and a lot of killing potential. The anchor comes from the Death Prophet and the Razor. It depends on who really builds the mech and does the better on the experience department in the early stages. But overall, like our team, or Cloud9 team rather, is lacking a lot of stuns. Where VP, I would say they're more focused on lanes and fights, but they're pretty well rounded in that aspect.
That SD pickup. I love it when VP does this. Jom's roaming Mirana. Like, he used to be picking up in the first two, and people used to ban it out. Like, they would ban Earthshaker and Mirana against this lineup of VP, just because Jom was so... he had such impact on the lanes when they rotated. And now you look at, like, an SD, Mirana, and a Razor. You can almost run this Centaur as a safe lane hero and just go for a full aggro lane. Or the Centaur as part of the combination. I know that's a little bit more problematic when you're running up against a Dazzle and a Skywrath Mage. That could be really, really problematic. But the momentum you could gain with that lineup could be really, really big.
Yeah. If I was VP, what I would consider doing is probably put the Razor on the safe lane, which guarantees so far a winning matchup, and then put the DP at mid who will relatively do well as well. And you know, with that Undying pickup, all of a sudden we'll have to see if Bone 7 picks up the Undying or the Skywrath, and there it is. Pilot does the pick up the Skywrath, which means Undying will be going to Bone 7, and it will be some sort of aggressive dueling, I believe.
Yeah, I would think this is a full aggro. Leave the Lycan on the bottom lane to go up against the Centaur, put the Gyro up against the Death Prophet, and then force the SD and the Mirana to come up north. And then you run, like, the Undying as a primary core. The Dazzle and Skywrath Mage in combination with it. You talk about zoning out heroes with Skywrath and Dazzle, with both Poison Touch as well as, like, your Concussive Shot. Undying's going to have all the time in the world to steal all the life points in the world. Man, I see a lot of killing potential in that, and I think that's mainly because I've seen 2 aggressive Undying games. Aggressive lane Undying matches coming up recently. But, yeah, we'll see. You know these boys pretty well, so if it's just going to be not like a basic off-lane Undying, then I'll be a little sad about it all.
Prepare for
I'm expecting a duel lane. And the biggest concerns I have with an aggressive tri-lane is that, one, if you aggro, most of the time you want to have some sort of a follow-up. And if you look at VP's set of supports with the Totem as well as the Shadow Demon, they're much better when it comes to walking around the map and just adapting to lanes than a Dazzle and a Skywrath would. So I really feel that the aggressive it's certainly an option, but it wouldn't be very good for our lanes. And also, Lycan, once again, this hero gets a little bit of focus and a little bit of assistance from the get-go, and he can take over the game.
That's probably not a stat if you're a Cloud9 fan you want to be reading. 10 straight win rate on Jodam's Mirana. Not a bad record. Not a bad record at all. But at the moment, maybe you're going to get your wish. That's a Vision Observer Ward on this bottom lane. So they're going to be keeping tabs on whoever's on this off lane, which means Pylai Die or Aoi 2000 will have to remain down here to zone him out.
While, one hero should certainly remain. This is also kind of reminiscent to what, if you recall, at the International, during the group stages, DK actually did something like this against us, where we gave them Lycan, and we got completely ran over. And granted, we had like a Storm Tree safe lane dual lane in that situation, so this is very different in the sense that VP have a much stronger tri lane, or a tri lane in general. But yeah, like this is a lineup that's pretty dependent on the snowballing aspect of things.
Well, VP do something very, very well. Snowball's great for them. I think it's the same thing as you said for like your own lineup. I think actually VP could even hold back. I would just wait for the right timing. Get that Blink Dagger over on the Centaur. Primary goal for Seedoy. And then culmination time. The SD could do the setups. Pylai's already taking care of this Observer Ward, which they try to just hide inside the cliff face. But will not be able to survive. And BZZ directly into Bone 7. Starts the static link, and he instantly gets decayed as well. Something tells me there's going to be a lot of trade-off with this until someone actually dies. While in middle lane, they're actually already rotating.
Fader, if he gets disrupted, he's dead for sure.
Disruption. Oh, he's not in he is in range. But where's this arrow? It's flying in. It connects. And Fader's locked here. The Crypt Swarm is still available here for God as well. And he'll take the kill. Meanwhile, on the top lane, it's actually a revenge kill. They managed to pick off the Razor, realizing that he was by himself, and gave a crack at him. Unfortunately for Cloud9 fans, it's a little too late. Death Prophet already got the first blood in the mid lane.
Yeah, well, this actually works out in Cloud9's favor overall, because if you saw at the mid lane, Fader would just TP back in, and he gained back all the EXP he was missing from the kill. I know the two supports are going down, but that means that there's a double wave build-up on top lane that the Razor's going to miss as well. And even if he was there, he would die again. So, unless they get this Lycan kill, which is really important for their movement, they're not really going to accomplish too much on these two supports. Their lane is pushing though, so that does open up opportunities for tower dive.
Well, they can give it a shot, man, but Jodam needs to hit that arrow. So, tower diving or not, a Hoof Stomp won't set up for it because the creep wave is still blocking the path. Looks like top lane they're going again on BZZ as Pylai. He's got another Arcane Orb in a moment, and with the Decay hit, Undying will take the kill. Diving pretty deep then on the Razor. And this dual lane's paying off dividends, like massive dividends too.
Yeah, these supports are actually not doing the right thing here just by camping, because they have to either commit to a dive, which is always risky, or they really should have just rotated back elsewhere. And Cloud9, they have really good ward positioning.
They're waiting for Envy to come up a little bit further. By the time they do this, the arrow line isn't there. If he fires it, it'll just hit a range creep. So all that waiting, and they don't really get anything from it. This is the second saddest Razor I've seen today. The earlier sad Razor was the one from Team Reno, Tinkerino. I don't know if you ended up watching game number 1 of like Na'Vi versus Team Tinker, but that
they got dismantled. Even game 2, the Razor didn't do too hot, I believe.
It was both games. Essentially, somehow we're getting like 3 for 3 on our Razor games today. But yeah, this Razor is completely destroyed. Like not even a single last hit, not one, not an iota.
Honestly, that hero, like you really have to have a good team to play around with. He is rather stagnant, so if he doesn't get a good early laning phase, which the hero is kind of designed for with the static link and his nuke, then you really need some cover from your teammates. And right now he's not getting any, unfortunately. He's still level 1. He's pulling the jungle, which is actually going to let him get dove even easier. And I think Cloud9 are going to take the opportunity here.
Well, the creep wave's not there's only 2 creeps though. Oh, now they got the new one coming in. Yeah, Bone 7's waiting for it. And now in they come. Concussive Shot, the Tombstone as well behind the tower. And then just Orb, Decay. No TP supports in the way. You got Mirana who's running up here. But even if she fires the arrow, the chance of getting a proper connection with any kind of follow-up is low. Especially at level 2. And in fact, just throws the arrow into the middle of absolutely everything. Connects on nothing.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Also want to flag to this build coming out from Fader. This isn't something which he used to do, but...
Oh, Envy at bottom though.
Are they diving? They're diving. But then again, Envy This Lycan's not that easy to kill off, especially when Aoi is right behind him. He's still got Shallow Grave available.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate because Yoel actually missed the Soul Catcher. I mean, he couldn't control that situation. There were too many creeps, and that's a level 2 Soul Catcher that would have probably made the difference on the kill. But it's unfortunate for them.
Yeah, I want to go back to Fader in this middle lane. He's maxing out the rocket. So Paladai can follow through with like concussive shot and orb attack damage, but he's keeping the Death Prophet low by spamming out this now level 3 rocket. In the old days, you just have flat cannon because the cooldown was so low. You'd just spam out and you'd win the lane by pure pressure and force into the enemy. But it's nice to actually see Fader just changing the build up a little bit more and focusing more on the homing missile.
Yeah, I think it was theory crafted a lot by different people ever since the missile hits to destroy changed, and I guess small buffs otherwise here and there. I'm still not sure if it's really that good because I don't really see the purpose of the spell coming into play in the mid game. So even if you do decently in the laning phase, what happens is, like, for example, Death Prophet will just counter push every wave by...
Courier might also die right now. Concussive shot, Paladai. The Hoof Stomp actually ends up saving Cluckles. Well, Sidoi, he may not be so lucky anymore. The orb attack damage is there, or at least the mana is there. But no, they actually didn't kill off Centaur. If there was the full focus coming off onto just one target, they probably would have had that. But C9 tried to get a little greedy and take both Courier as well as Hero.
Well, they're losing Paladai here.
Yep, arrow's gonna fly in. Paladai get hit perfectly after disruption set up. And then even Hoof Stomp him to Envy, but they drop the Tombstone. Bone 7, he's got the ultimate available, crack level 6. Decay, he's gonna hit on 3 heroes now. No! He only got 2 of them. And the pressure can keep flying in. John with a leap away. And VP will back up past their tower and will survive to fight another day. Even then, they're throwing arrows down, looking for Eternal Envy. There is no joy to be had in that.
Yeah, that TP is going to hurt Bone 7 quite a bit. Not only did you basically use his entire mana pool, but also TPing away from that lane means that this Razor is going to have uncontested farm to just have space to catch up. And this Undying hero, like, it needs to begin 5-manning sometime soon. Otherwise, it'll have to farm ridiculous amounts because, like, in the mid game, his impact falls off. So he's really good early game or really good late game, but he doesn't really excel in the mid game. So long as Tombstone is dealt with, of course. And with Stampede and Razor Ultimate, Tombstone will get mitigated to an extent.
Watching Paladai now trying to battle up against BTZ. Basically, the walking wounded of either side. One with no CS and a support hero with 1 death. And they got a lot of movement coming up as well. Yol and Jottam smoked up and going again. Well, at the same time, the dual lane's been reassembled on top. The Tombstone's available, the ulti as well from Undying coming off cooldown 2 seconds time. So they throw down the Tombstone. Concussion shot's already gone out, and Bone 7 does trigger the ulti, but they also trigger in a double TP. And it's going to be God to the front lines with a haste rune as well. Searching for Paladai. Stun, they get vision, disruption. It goes off in time. Bone 7's going to have to try and defend his teammate now. He gets the concussive shot over towards Yol. He'll lose his teammate, but he'll get a revenge kill into Yol. So it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade-off. And Krob will just trigger the ultimate. Able to hit level 8 after that kill. And he'll turn around for the decay, but there's not a lot of life points going to be left here. While Bone 7's got 1,200 of them. He gets hit by the arrow and his ulti's wearing off. Plasma Fuel will come in as well from BZZ. But it's God's the man who gets the last hit in. While Sidoi is also going to be pressured on the bottom lane, but and then again, it's Aoi 2000. Sidoi is actually pressuring Envy more than anything else. Hoof Stomp. Shallow Grave's available. He's trying to wait for the right time, and he's not actually letting the ulti go. As the pause will come from BZZ. A lot of lag coming in. I'm wondering if this actually helped our Centaur, because if he double-edged that, he wouldn't get the kill. But I think he's waiting until the Shallow Grave's going to wear off, and then he'll double-edge. He's still got Centaur ulti to run. And the mana pool, well, it's there for it. 80 mana for the Stampede, and he's got it. So you trigger it, slows him down, wait for it.
Yeah, he killed himself to the return.
Yeah.
Well, with the creeps as well, but... no, like, that was a weird one, because... It seemed like AUI, his delay kicked in on the Grave, and it was to the point where Centaur actually could have landed a level 3 double edge to kill Envy before the Grave came in. And then the other thing is Sidoi just didn't cast any spells for like 3-4 attacks, and it almost seemed like he was either too patient or he disconnected. And I thought that's what the pause was for. I thought he disconnected on the spot, but that was just really good timing on Sidoi because he knew he was going to get level 6 level 1 creep as it was dying, so it was good for him to take that engagement. He wasn't going to die no matter what. And the other thing is at top lane, that kill by the Totem there, landing that arrow on Bone, he actually turned his back for a second to make it like do a feint, make it look like he was backing, and then he turned back, left forward, and then landed the arrow because he knew that Bone 7 was going to watch for it otherwise. And this is why this guy's put him on a 10-game win streak. He knows his hero in and out for sure.
Oh, the rotations keep coming out too. We are searching for more openings on the bottom lane, but Jottam just unable to find the opening. And the Lycan Wolves starting to do their scout work, but it's only a level 2 Lycan Wolf. It went a 2-2-1 build up from Eternal Envy. So the extra points into Howl instead. And I would ask you the question right now, what is Fader doing for the team? Like, what is this Gyro doing? Like, Fader goes for a lot of, like, support heavy mids. He picks up next very early on.
Oh, man.
But right now we just have a farming Gyrocopter in the middle lane, and C9 is just battling without him.
Look at Jodam. He took one rocket and his HP went down 400. That was pretty big. But as for what he gives to the team, though, Toby, I don't really have a response for you at the moment. I don't know what this rocket max Gyrocopter actually does. We'll have to tune in to find out and kind of keep our eyes glued to the screen as it hits the 15 to 20 minute mark, where Feda will presumably buy a mech.
Yeah, I'm not even sure he should build into a mech in this game.
Well, I don't know either, but I mean, it is Feda, and
true.
It's usually what he buys, right?
But in this game, actually, we got a Blade Melt coming up from Bone 7, but I'll try and get both, like, Blade Melt and mech over onto him. You've already got the Dazzle Heals, which will give you some time. The arrows on the way in is going to be a little bit off target. For Fader, I'd want to see more like Ring of a Caller or drums, or both, very early on. Just so he's ready to be there for the engagements. Like, you get the Vladimir's offering already out for Eternal Envies, he just misses the Lasada. Comes back and finishes off now. But, like, the aura stack's gonna be nice. You have a lot of protection.
Oh,
Rockets on BZZ with the call down, but he's gonna center ulti. He escapes from the second rocket, but now Pylai die with the Mystic Flare snipes him. Well, you described him as a support player with a thirst for blood. He was able to sniff it out perfectly on the Razor just then.
Yeah. It's about the standard Pylai die. He either gets ridiculous amounts of kills, as you see he's involved in 5 kills for Cloud9 and we have 5. Or sometimes things don't go well and you find yourself overextended.
Cedo is trying to keep this Blink Dagger, which he just freshly bought a secret. So y'all's dropping down pretty low. But the Wolves go back to Envis.
He's actually really farmed. Oh my gosh.
Yep. But Envy's not coming out to meet him. The Wolves are around there, but they haven't seen Cedo, because they'll be scanning out a little bit more. But they do see God, who moved down to this bottom lane. Did Fader build a mech? No, he got Ring of a Caller to start with. I agree with this.
Not yet, Toby, not yet.
Come on, but Bone 7's finished at still 11-minute Blade Mail. That's really nice for him. It's also really bad for virtus.pro, because these fights got a lot more difficult with him on the front lines. But the Blink, Hoof Stomp, goes on Pylai, and Bone 7 hit by another arrow. Cedo wants to finish the job, but now the catch is on Bone 7. He turns on the Blade Mail and just battles into Yol. He will drop. Undying will take the kill, and Cedo trying to catch up to Pylai Die. He turns, realizing Gold was coming up the river. He had no other option. And Bone 7 able to get himself a 2-man decay off here. Cedo low on line, the Tombstone slowing him down. Another decay to get the kill. Now to 1,300 life points. Fader will cop the hit. The Rocket's coming into God. He's out of 1,000 of his own life points. The Rocket will not kill him off, however. Not unless this Gyro is going to commit heavily in, which he will not. They back up and they're happy with the trade-off.
Top tower has been denied.
Yeah. No, it seems like Cloud9, they're making everything connect, with especially with this Undying being so farmed, as you said, with the Blade Mail and the Gyrocopter. Not too bad for himself considering all things, but this Death Prophet is still 4-0, highest level in the game, and has just picked up level 2 ultimate. This means that when VP actually assemble to do stuff, this is going to be really hard for C9 to repel at this point, because their heroes overall pretty under-leveled, I would say.
Man, those two supports. I talk about under-leveled heroes, and you still got 2 VP heroes that haven't cracked level 6. Yep.
That's true. That is true. Their level 6 is important, but the thing is, those heroes, their level 6 caps them, whereas the Dazzle, he can just infinitely grow with levels.
Centaur ulti's going off. They're looking towards Fair in the middle lane. He kills off the tower, the double edge, and the call down. He'll turn to a Rocket Barrage. Not enough damage to kill off Cedo while in the bottom lane. The Mystic Flash controlling BZZ enough to keep him on the Radiant side of the river. So it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade-off. God actually bumped into Bone 7 for a moment then. And they're peeing out the fact he's there. Also with the sentry ward down, makes it a little bit more obvious But you got no ultimate up from Bone 7 anymore. You can go for the decay, but Eternal Envy's got his. Comes in. How quickly does that SD drop? Especially when you got a Lycan Wolf on the tail of God. Down to 89 of his life points. And Envy, just one paw swipe should be almost enough. Those bottle charges, 4 wands charges as well. Envy's got to commit again,
Envy
but the
needs to be careful
wolves...
here.
The Exorcism was killing him off. The ulti ran out. Bone 7 turns on the Blade Mail, trying to find that extra damage to kill off the Death Prophet. She dropped down to 10 life points on the run out of then. But that is all she wrote.
That was a really interesting move because the reason why she was actually in that predicament in the first place is due to the Orb of Venom on the Lycan. That 12% slow is having a real impact on this Death Prophet.
It's because she's got no movement speed. Even though you get your phase boots up and running until you get Yield Scepter. That's where you get 4 points up in Witchcraft. Oh, Seedoy. They drop the hammer. Hits God too with that call down connection. Undying triggered his Blade Mail and goes for the Decay. Jot him down to 600 life points. Gotta be careful if Fader turns on this flat cannon. And now Disruption, Catcher. Bone 7 still sitting in the front lines. And there goes your flat cannon. The orb damage is flying the way of God. The seal's over on BZZ. So no more plasma fields as well as static links. It's God. Gonna get hit by this rocket. Nah, they get rid of it in time. The tower actually got the last hit in then.
That was also unfortunate for VP because when Yol TP'd in, he had 2 options to disrupt either the target he went for or go for the Undying. And it was a greedy move to go for the other target, but he should have gone for the Undying. As soon as the Undying resurfaced, he would have gotten popped, would have given the Shadow Demon level 6, and he would have been able to follow with a Purge on a different target. So I think it was a greedy choice that they made to disrupt. I believe it was Pile Die, but it was another target than the Undying, which was closer.
Yeah, actually, it was him. My own brain, man. Like, I've been casting since 7 AM in the morning, and I'm starting to slip. Just a little bit.
Long day for you, man.
Yeah. Hey, you're joining me tomorrow morning for it, so.
Well, it's night for me, so I'm Gucci on that department.
It's the perfect time of your night. The perfect time. Well, until it hits 3 AM in the morning, at which point, not so perfect after that point.
No.
Looks like VP are going to force them. God's got a level 2 Exorcism, so the fortification has to be used by Cloud9. If they want to hold this, they will have to properly defend this. So, homing missile to start with on God. Bone 7 triggers ulti again. Goes to the decay over on God. He's already got 2 buff ups from this. And VP just back up. The concussor shot's flying the way of Yol, and it cancels Clarity, and they just Centaur ulti away as well. Cloud9 are chasing so deep in for this, and another missile's now flying out. And they're not getting rid of them. Shalom's going to get hit by this, while up on top lane, Eternal Envy is just taking out towers. More supports rotating up. The Hoof Stop will stop him from getting away here. How's Jottam doing? Another rocket onto Yol. Defensive disruption. But the Tombstone and the call down being committed. And Yol very, very quickly dies. It's actually amazing how much team fight control this rocket is giving Cloud9.
Yeah, this is actually really obnoxious.
Oh, Hoof Stomp on Bone 7. The silence going to be there as well. Silencing up Cedos. No instant follow-up with the double edge. And he's already backing up, knowing the double edge can potentially kill him. Cuts a shot to BZZ. Rocket Barrage. Mystic Flare going to kill off the Centaur. And Fader still on the back of him. Throws another rocket. The Undying minions are chasing him. Not to mention God. I think that rocket will actually kill off BZZ. Orb damage up to God. The rockets, they're chasing in deeper. God turns. He needs to get rid of this thing or else BZZ potentially dies. He turns and does it himself. But they're forcing VP all the way back to their well. And now trying to bring down the tier 2 tower. No backdoor regeneration, but also no creep wave to tank up for them.
Somewhere, Iceproc is sitting on his couch and just enjoying this one. Saying, finally somebody's trying this rocket that I've buffed over multiple patches, and it's working out this game, Toby. That's all I can really say. You know, the sample size is not that big, but it's doing the work it's looking to do. I mean, VP, every time they see the rocket, they're scattering so much and running away, limping almost, with all their low HP, squishy targets at this point.
Oh, God, they're coming down. The regeneration room was stolen. That was meant to be for the bottle and the gyrocopter. So, I was going to ask you, are you now becoming a believer of the max rocket build? Of the gyrocopter? It gets very lucky to get now an illusion rune as well. Or is it still just like you're gonna put it in that list of circumstantial hero pickup and build?
For now, it's definitely circumstantial. Like it'll have to have a bigger sample size for sure. But it's definitely having a huge impact this game. I can't deny that.
And right now, Fader's going to have to almost solo defend this bottom lane. God's coming down, the Centaur ulti, and the Eul Scepter actually delaying Seedoy's attack. The Hoof Stomp will come and the arrow, but they're not really getting the perfect combination because now Fader, Shadow Grave will keep him alive. The cooldown, he was able to get it off and the extra heal. The Centaur ends up dying. The combinations from VP not hitting properly. The tower will still go down for Death Prophet, but Bone 7 with his Blade Mail is enjoying life. Gets a double decay. Four charges in total. And Envy's not even involved in this. I can give him a Howl bonus damage as the rocket connects on PCC, holding him out of the fight. And it's, well, Yol, defensive disruption, trying to escape back out, but Lycan's taking a tier 2 tower in the middle lane. While all this is going on, Envy doesn't get involved. Bone 7 will die on the bottom lane, giving God now a double kill. But Envy's taking the tower, and he's looking to push in towards the tier 3s. God tried to TP out. The rocket actually cancelled his TP out to safety. So BZZ now has a TP to stop Envy's push up mid.
What an interesting game. That rocket's just proving its worth over and over again. Meantime, top lane's built up a nice push on the side of VP. There will be no responses because there's no Boots Travels or Furions in the game, but it would mean that Cloud9 would have to respond. I would imagine Eternal Envy is looking at that and saying, it's time for some farming.
If only they can get there. Right now, Fader, back to bottom lane. Can't believe he actually built a mech. Can't believe he still built the bloody mech.
Come on. What does he build on Troll Warlord mech? What does he build on Viper mech? What does he build on Razor mech? What does he build on Gyrocopter?
I know, but still, you need to have physical DPS coming out of this lineup. This is a requirement for the Gyrocopter.
Honestly, Invoker as well, that's right. And honestly, this Gyrocopter hero, if you look at his spells, you know, his kit, when it comes to just casting spells, it's not that bad, which is the reason he was able to be built as a support in the first place. Similar to Naga Siren, I would say, but Naga doesn't really pack so much damage as she does utility when it comes to supporting. So, lots to be theory crafted and lots to be discovered.
And then they'll just completely rework it. Rocket gets buffed up again during the next patch.
Oh, I hope so. That would push me over the line and say, alright, this is viable.
What would you have to really do to it? Like, just increase the damage? Minimum damage 50, maximum damage, like, the damage is 440.
440 is already pretty high, I would say.
Yeah, I don't think you can increase that one. Just about time to kill it off. The arrows are flying in while it scouts out the fact that Eternal Envy's going for Roshan. But up on top lane, there's bigger problems. They'll trigger the Moonlight Shadow, allowing BZZ and Jottam to come into the pit. And now Aoi 2000, they have to turn. Envy triggers the ultimate, but Aoi's already dead, which means there's no extra life for Eternal Envy to be here. God's Exorcism will also time out, but he TP'd himself off the top lane. And they'll come in and they'll finish up Roshan. And Cloud9, I initially thought the VP were on the wrong side of the map because they're being engaged up on the top lane, but they're back down to Roshan, and Cloud9 found themselves on the wrong side of the map. Because Roshan belongs to VP, the decay possible, but a Hoof Stomp is just delaying time, and Roshan's still not dead yet. The Wolf's in the middle of the pit. The Aegis want to kill up by the dire side, and the Aegis belongs to them as well. No swiping coming out. They do lose the Centaur for it, as he just tried to become a bit of a buffer between, well, VP and all of Cloud9.
Yeah, he sacrificed his life for sure. He did everything he had to do there. It took so much time and space away from Cloud9 to be able to contest that Roshan engagement properly. And the end result is, yeah, the Lycan doesn't get what he's looking for. However, the bottom lane is slightly pushing in. And I think the Eternal Envy should be aware that VP were running back to the fountain to heal up and regenerate what they were missing. But he decides not to push on it, I guess, which is okay. I think. Slight opportunity to do some damage to the tier 1 tower, which is relatively important on the dire side, but I guess not.
Looks like VP are going to prep themselves in the bottom lane now. So, already Korea, what we got coming down? Nice little Ogre Club coming in for God. A little bit of strength and potentially a BKB. Bone 7 though wants to initiate. And God, well, Rod of Hour, he's throwing him down. He's still got a really high amount of movement speed considering Yules as well as phase boots. The arrow combination. Bone 7 able to get the Blade Mail off, but at the same time he's being locked and controlled by that 5-second stun. The Shallow Grave will come in, and he'll just try and TP out, and while the cooldown and Fader, defensive disruption's going to keep Bone 7 here. The Fader's still able to get a revenge kill over on the SD, while that rocket kills off Jottam in the tree line. Level 4 rocket, killing off supports left, right, and center, giving Fader a double kill with it.
Fantastic spell.
Fader's willing to fight again. He's bottling up at the moment. Preps another rocket. This time it's over on Seedoy. As, well, God and BZZ teaming up together to get rid of that rocket. But Envy's just running around with his Necro units, but they're about to time out. So there's no reason why C9 wants to fight. It looks like VP also don't want a bar of it. They're all backing up for now.
Yeah, even though the Aegis is still available, the mana pool on G is not sufficient to maintain a long extended fight, whereas the ultimate also is not there.
So, Envy, solo defending up against Seedoy. He came out of the trees and Seedoy looked like he just saw a mouse on the ground. Instantly blinks himself away to safety, but Envy triggers off the Howl. There's not enough damage to bring down that tier 1 tower, and again, now they just defend up the mid. More rockets to fly. Follow the homing missile to the ends of the earth.
Has been denied.
Yep, looks like he's gonna get hit and boom. Even with the hood, he's still taking more than 200 damage out of that rocket, so it's gotta be really annoying for them, because they have all these single target supports as well. And I mean, when it comes to hitting rockets, everybody's single target, but casting spells, like the chaos of the fight, it's just gonna make it so difficult for these rockets to actually get spotted out. Not to mention, Beta's been throwing out multiples at every engagement.
These wolves are scouting out at least the Centaur. So I'm actually long Cloud9 to a false sense of security, because the wolves didn't see Yol or Jottam under the cover of smoke. So they're looking for an engagement up on top lane. They're not really going to find one, as now the smoke's going to break and the wolves are coming up. So as it comes up, they'll flag the fact that Jottam is here. And Envy, he's got his ultimate form as well as Necro units. He's going to actually have to get himself out. Got into the ultimate form before... Oh, wait! Wait, what the hell? He summoned his Necro units to actually to hit the arrow?
Yeah, it got blocked. So as soon as he came back, he summoned the Necro and he actually walked past the Necro. I think Jottam messed up his timing a little bit, but it would have still caught Envy if he didn't spawn the Necro book. So it was nice job by Envy. I thought he was dead for sure. I think the Shadow Demon also, like, he didn't they knew he was there, but he didn't poison into the fog to get immediate vision. I guess now poison's slightly different though, so I guess you can't rely on it as much anymore.
You really want to be spamming 50 mana when you've only got a 5/7/2 mana pool, because you win Tranquil Boots is supposed to go in the Arcane Boots. So the mana pool and the regeneration really isn't there for the SD.
Nope, certainly not at the moment. G's picked up a new item. It is the Black King bar completed. He still has the casual vitality booster, which was in his inventory for some time now, I believe. And on a similar note, I guess BZZ is working towards its BKB. Not too sure how effective it'll be against the Cloud9 lineup though. I mean, at best it prevents the rocket from being a complete nuisance to you in the fights, but when it comes to Tombstone slowing you down and all these other things, I don't know how much it alleviates that.
I'm not really seeing it alleviating much, considering you do actually have like the physical DPS is starting to rise for Eternal Envy. Even though like you build into the Necro units, you're gonna get yourself into a later portion of the game where flat cannon cooldown, like that control, which also goes through BKB, they'll have all the time in the world just keep beating into them. Now another quick decay. Gonna take a little bit of life points there off God for the moment. As Bone 7 goes for another one. This time he's able to pick up 2 heroes in this one. And the cooldown's already going to work too, but God, a little bit too far away for that cooldown to really affect him. They're just trying to keep the distance of this exorcism away from the damn tower, but God, well, there's no sword to keep that tombstone alive, ends up just getting burned. But the exorcism is almost gone too. And this may just be the win they're looking for. The rocket, God, well, the Aegis Simor's going to trigger. Now we finally see the weakness of the rocket. And Bone 7 moves forward. How many decays has he managed to get? He's got so many buff ups. The Moonlight Shadow's been used, but the Necro unit's giving out that true vision. The Wolves are there as well, but they've used almost every single ultimate apart from now the Razor one, which is back off cooldown, to try and take that tier 2 tower, and they did not succeed.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Cloud9 couldn't get a catch out of that, but the Tombstone is like the big initiator signaling the goal sign for Cloud9, and of course on BP that's the signal to back. But that got eliminated really quick. They're gonna
fortify. He's already lost his Wolves. He'll trigger off the ultimate, and wait! Hang on, he static linked the Wolf. That wasn't the initial plan.
Dire's bottom tower.
Still, he stole 56 damage off a dead unit. How's that possible?
Not too sure either, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's just the way you deal with all bugs.
Exactly. It is what it is.
It was a graphical glitch. Wait, he got Envy with the link?
Yeah, the link was actually just on top of a wolf because yeah, it looked like it, but yeah, you can't link wolves anyway, so.
Right. That makes sense. It just looked wrong. Either way.
Ah, Toby, our eyes, they're playing tricks on us.
Well, okay, I want to use your line now in the future. Something if it feels a little bit wrong. Well, it is what it is.
It is what it is, you know.
Well, what was that? Is that a BKB and a mech on a razor? Well, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's the universal
Arrow.
statement of
that's a good
acceptance.
stun. That's 4 seconds over on Bone 7. They still lose the tower. Cloud9 in the bottom lane, but not going to force any further. And VP, they're becoming a lot more mindful about these rockets. At the same time, Jotum, Rod of Aoi over on him. He's going to force staff away with a Mystic Flare. It's just going to burn his life points out. Big commitment from C9, but they lose their tower, and all they really get in return is a Mirana. And they're missing time on their lanes. God's gone straight towards that mid lane to continue his farm, and Cedo's into the jungle. Farming up there too.
Yeah, you know, G is actually playing really well this game. I mean, even earlier when the rest of the team was hesitant on going back, he was the one that, with Half-Life and Exorcism about to expire, he said, no, let's keep pushing the tower, and they just kept their presence there. And not too sure if it was the best decision in the long run or not, but they still got out with the Stampede relatively safely. They just lost the Aegis and the Exorcism that they had committed to the tower, but they did really good damage and forced Cloud9 to stay at bay. So I think overall this game, you know, he's making the right movements and he's being just aggressive enough that Cloud9 are to remain on their toes.
Fade is coming out towards that top lane now. There's a lot of farm going that way as I just zoomed out way too far. Yeah. He's already at the line points. He's got to go straight to the damage. There's no point going a BKB in this lineup now. Because the physical damage is going to carve him up anyway. So, reliance on just getting the mech off. Dish out as much damage with the flat cannon as possible, and then let Eternal Envy mop up the rest.
Yep, I guess this is the backup plan that they had in mind, is that the gyrocopter can transition into a carry with relative ease. So, looks like they'll be looking to do that. Not too sure if it's gonna have a positive effect in the late game though. Once again, this Undying, the way he's built his items, shows the kind of commitment that he wants to fight and force towers. And at this point, you can't do that against VP because they have the Stampede to either initiate or run away. And most importantly, the cores on VP are not that easily killed anymore. The Razor is slightly tanky, not tanky enough yet, but tanky enough to just survive initial bursts. And the Death Prophet is not going to fall at all. So, well, he could. I mean, if he gets engaged on, he will. But the positioning of the heroes.
BZZ's got a TP like right now. His TP just came off cooldown. He goes into the little crevice. And Cloud9 were on the hunt for this. The ping comes out just showing the fact the Pilot Eye is up there. And the C9 aren't searching for him. They just mop up the creep wave instead. It's almost like they're trying to stamp the fact they're going to come for the tier 2 tower. But if they do that, they're going to lose on the trade-off. Because their top tier 2 tower, Exorcism committed by God. So the tier 2 tower, the Exorcism gets burnt. They'll TP in 2 heroes. That's going to be Bone 7 to start with. And then the extra TP's on the way in. It's taking a very long time for Fader. And the Centaur ulti will allow God just to run himself away to safety. And Fader will mop up the rest of the creep wave now.
Honestly, I think that's a real concern, what happened at top right there. Cloud9, they don't have a very good catch at the moment, so if their lanes get pushed in, this Lycan doesn't get too much of an opportunity to push out the side lanes as he wants to this game. Like earlier when they forced a huge fight at bottom and Lycan was able to push the tier 2 alone. These things are what Cloud9 really want to happen right now, but given the way that VP is playing with their cores, I mean, you have this Razor that's already pushing up bottom so deep with no responses. And the DP already, I mean, he was running away from top, but that's because he already pushed the lane so far deep as well. And with the Stampede to fall back on, they can always escape just running away because, once again, Cloud9, their catch is very limited.
C9,
but one thing they're really good at is killing Roche.
They're being so obvious about this, though. They walk straight underneath an Observer Ward of the Dire side. They don't know it because they dropped their own Sentry Ward, but don't see anybody there. But triggering off how Lycan form, every bit of damage they've got to bring down Roshan. If this doesn't work for them, they're going to be really annoyed. The Crypt Swarm comes in. The Jara will take the Aegis, the Immortal. And the last hit does belong to the Radiant side, while BZZ is now pushing into the tier 3 tower on the bottom lane. Jotun will give him some support. The Weave's already going to go on these 2 heroes. The arrow dodged by Aoi. And Jotun, well, he's got 4 staff and TP, and he should be getting himself out of this one right now. TP into the tree line. Well, he'll get hit once by the decay, but they didn't have a stun to stop him.
I mean, that was a nice Roshan pickup for sure. And most of the time, Roshan exchanges go in favor of the people who get the Aegis and the Rosh. But I'm not too sure how much Cloud9 can actually get out of that. And the reason why I question it is because I wonder what they want to do with that Aegis. Like, looking at the map in general, bottom's not that good of a lane to push for them because of the concave that they'll have to deal with against the VP lineup if they push that tower too deeply. And going high ground right now, they have the damage, but it's not an option to fight up against VP's lineup in VP's favor. Like, when VP have the positioning on them.
We could go man mode on Fader. Because they gave him the Aegis the Immortal over anybody else. I can understand it because, like, giving it to a Lycan doesn't make that much sense. They're going to try and engage. There's already the homing missile on God. But they're not getting close enough with the slow. They need that rocket to connect.
Yeah, it won't. He has the Yield Scepter, so he'll just yield it off, I'm pretty sure. And once again, the problem transpires is that bottom lane is getting pushed in so deep by this support Priestess who has the leap as well as the Force Staff to escape against the lackluster disables coming out of Cloud9. Centaur just pushes in mid. He has the Stampede for his teammates and himself. And Death Prophet, we saw right there, you know, Cloud9, they can chase with all the heroes they want, but unless they're guys under a smoke or something, they're not going to catch this Death Prophet out.
You know, I said man mode. It's not there from Fader. He went a BKB. I thought he'd just go for like the full damage.
Oh, that arrow though.
They're not going to pounce for it. Like, it's just him TPing in, and he already got one of the rockets off anyway. But yeah, I thought Fader might be going into like Crystallis, maybe potentially Daedalus, and the full man mode would have been something like a Rapier. But
how long has it been since we've seen a Rapier Gyrocopter?
It's been a while for me. I know we saw a oh, now that arrow. No, not enough. Soul Rip as well as the extra heal. But it's up on top lane where God's found his target. And it's going to be the Lycan. Silence is available. And now, well, the extra slow can be broken. And he just triggers the ultimate form. And the Exorcism is going to be blown here by God. There's 2 minutes on the cooldown while on bottom lane, Jottam. The arrow's going to connect on him. Fader, he's got more rockets available. The Weave's already hitting pretty heavily into Jottam. And they're going to trigger off the dust. The Weave will run out of its effectiveness. And now BZZ starts to static link over on Bone 7. They're a little bit too deep for this. The Yule Scepter up in the air coming out from Bone 7, sending BZZ up. While now up on top lane, Seedoy and Gone. Now, you did use the Exorcism to kill off the tier 2 tower. The Horse Stomp hits Pilot Eye halfway through that 4-star, but then the easy save, I say easy, perfect save from Aoi 2000 will get that kill, while Mirana and Undying end up trading lives on each other. Envy, back it up. He's back up. So Undying dies in the bottom lane, Mirana dies as well, so they end up just killing each other.
Meanwhile, Envy does take a lot of damage, but he does have protection coming out of the 2 supports, and once again, it's like at bottom, Cloud9 get this exchange that's not in their favor because they're the ones that engage, commit the spells, and they're the one that loses the core hero, Undying, which is pretty important at this point because this hero right now, at this point, he doesn't have the adequate farm and the right items to be able to scale into the late game. Like we're looking at like Shivas. I mean, if he did mech earlier, it would have been nice, but looking at stuff like Shivas, more tankiness, the blade mill's okay, only for like the first 10-15 minutes until BKBs kick in, and I don't know. I think at top lane too, like that Exorcism, it almost looked like it got blown away for nothing. But the fact of the matter is, this Lycan is so underfarmed that if DP actually pushed the tower, which she did with the Centaur, he can't respond at all. So the tower just falls in front of their faces. And even though they have the Roshan advantage with the Aegis, they're losing objectives. And it really goes to show that their disadvantage is pretty substantial right now.
There's your answer for the last Rapier. So Silent was the last one to do it about a month ago. Oh, sorry, the last one was a month ago, and then one before that was, yeah, Team Empire versus Titan. Hey,
I believe we did see a Rapier Gyro at TI, right?
Yeah, that was the one he's talking about. It was Team Empire when they lost to Titan, and he picked up a Divine Rapier on the Gyro. Right.
Yeah.
Scattered it out.
They picked Wraith King like every single game, dude. I don't know. That was awkward. I mean, they like the hero, but
hey, they did better than MUFC.
Well, no, they're a good team. I just found it weird that a team would actually first pick Wraith King every game when they know they could get it at other times.
Maybe it was part of a mind game.
True.
That could be it. There's a full assault Cuirass coming in for Eternal Envy now. So 38 minutes in, they got the AC behind him. The arrow connects on Pone 7. Again, shot him. Just throwing it up the mid lane and finds himself a hero. But the top lane's pushing in. It's God again coming in with a level 3 Exorcism and a heart. But this turns into a base trade-off. We got Fortification available for both sides. Seedoy already being initiated on. The Rod of Aoi slowing him down. They need more damage, but Yol won't allow for it. Going for the defensive disruption while Mirana looking for another arrow from behind. He needs to stop Aoi from doing his thing, but then again, Aoi hasn't even started up on the weave. Now he's got a cast, or he's going to start losing teammates quickly. And there goes the weave over on Fader, but it's the end duration for it. God comes back with his Exorcism, and they're going to push Envy back out again. Yul Scepter up and towards the air. He'll hit the deck, try and run himself out, and actually most of Cloud9 are escaping from this. 125 life points on Envy. Into the tree line. He's hoping to TP out, but well, Plaza Phil will reach him. Meanwhile, in middle lane, the Necro units and the Wolves also did the job. They brought down the melee rack, so even though it looks like a bit of a weird and bad fight for Cloud9, they still come out on top.
Yeah, they actually got the racks just as Envy was walking out, so they got the job done. And he couldn't pop the ultimate right away because he was silenced, but I have to question, why was G staying at top so long? I thought if he stayed that long while the push was happening at mid, I thought he was going to commit to a counter push at top or something, but he decided to just pop Exorcism and TP back. I guess he kind of floundered on his decision, which hurt them quite a bit. I would say the Raxes would still live if VP were all on the same page and acted accordingly.
Maybe indecision really is it. Because he's had fights before, he's triggered the Exorcism and then come into it, and it's like the last 2 seconds of Exorcism. So there's no damage, there's no influence from that. Maybe his other hope was by triggering the Exorcism on the top lane, he'd force a TP back by Cloud9. But just one hero to come back and
He was just uphill too at that time, so I don't know. It looks so obvious that Cloud9 was gonna commit deep into that push, but it didn't seem like VP had the right ideas on it. So in the end, it does cost them the Raxes. But once again, I'm not too sure if that Raxes is that big of a deal. Cloud9 did lose the Lycan out of it, and it's not the end of the world because the Lycan will catch up on the farm. But it does take off the Aegis slightly more, and there it is. The Aegis is actually gone, and Sedoy will be okay here as well because he has the Stampede and he has Art.
He's okay for now. Actually got so much money, like with the double hearts over on VP. Like it's a Shiva's got about to ride for the Death Prophet unless she wants to go for a side device. And you've got 3.8k gold over on a Centaur who's already got the heart. And the Assault Cuirass, I believe, has been taken care of by BZZ. He decided to actually just buy the plate mail and then go straight into the Aghanim Scepter. But the choice is still there. As if he lives, of course. Triggers the BKB, and well, they have nothing to stun through the BKB.
Nope.
But that's
they're already lacking quite a bit on the stun department, so when BKB comes into the picture, that's some real immunity right there being provided for the BKB users.
You notice too what Envy's building into because of that? He's going straight for the Basher into the Abyssal. So this is his way of getting around having those BKB heroes.
Yeah, I wonder if this is actually the right call for him, and eventually it would definitely be, but right now he really might need a BKB as well. I know there's not that many stuns on VP either when it comes to reliable stuns, but anytime he gets stunned up once by a potential Centaur movement or just gets Stampede slowed and silenced, like this is gonna hurt him a lot when it comes to teamfight maneuverability. And this Lycan really wants to be able to walk around and hit anything he wants.
There's initiation coming on bottom lane. Smoke up, instantly into the seal, and then, well, the Centaur ulti will be triggered, but Yul Scepter up into the air, the call down will connect as well, and BZZ, he's out of movement speed. He'll drop on the bottom lane. God's coming in to try and get some collaterals. There goes Yeshiva's gun. The buyback did come out, but he just BKBs and TPs out, Fader. Nothing to stop that TP. Paradise out as well. The Yul Scepter will end up catching out Aoi 2000. But he'll die an important player. In the corner, surrounded by 5 heroes of Cloud9. But that's well worth it. They just killed off the Razor and managed to get a buyback out from him for the price of a Dazzle.
If VP actually do what I think they're about to do, that was a brilliant play by the Razor. If they really go up, never mind.
They're coming
I thought
back.
they were gonna rush.
They can't. Like Envy and Bone 7, it's gonna ravage their racks. And even now Envy's considering a fight. Goes into his ultimate form. The Necro units are already down. The Yul Scepter up by God, but with the Tombstone being dropped by Bone 7, there's extra safety, extra security. The arrows almost sitting on Eternal Envy. But they got another couple of targets. Is BZZ trying to catch up to Fader? The Centaur ult is going to keep him in range. Look at that damage deal as well. Fader, he's in so much trouble right now, and he won't get denied up. The Plaza Field on the way back in again. Ends the mega kill streak of 755 gold. And now they can go for Roshan.
this is gonna hurt Cloud9 a ton. This not only gives VP an excuse to defend anytime they want, in any form or any matter, because anytime Cloud9 try to assemble for a quick push, the one with the Aegis can just walk up in Cloud9, because they have a lot of like one-hit wonder type of things, in a sense that like big ultimates coming out of the Skywrath and Gyrocopter and stuff. Their overall sustain in the fights is not as good as it used to be in the early game, so they really don't want to take a fight against the Aegis, and that would give VP the excuse to actually push out the silence and decide to push into the base if they so desired. Things are looking rough for Cloud9 right now, I would say, even though they're still the racks up.
That's even worse when right. I'm not feeling the magic for Cloud9 unless they can get a good split push. In the meantime, chat trivia, who is the only player to build Divine Rapier in 3 different competitive Dota 2 matches during the current patch of 6.81?
Can't be a West player. It's been forever since I've seen a Rapier.
I haven't seen one on in Eastern Dota either.
I feel like it's gotta be C, because I mean, for me personally, that's the only scene I don't really know that much about right now.
Well, then you'd have Titan, you'd have KYXY, would be one of the big ones. Like, we'd have to flag. Even then, I don't see him really doing that.
That's a tough one. I don't recall any Western players building Rapier in recent times. Like, matches overall are usually so fast, or they get dragged on so late, and the heroes that get picked up aren't really Rapier compatible.
Even the Chinese games, I don't remember any of that. And meanwhile, back of the racks, 3 heroes affected up by that weave. The call down as she's slowing down Cino and BTZ. He got bashed up and locked up, but the SD disruption will save him a little bit of space here. While Bone 7 try and find the front lines, forced after way, so he can't just go straight into the double edge. Not to mention Shallow Graves buying him some extra time, while the Aegis will go and be triggered off by the Razor. Gods lost his BKB charge, ended up wearing off. But his Exorcism is still doing the heavy lifting here in the fight, and BZZ back to the world of living. Now triggers his own BKB. But God's still got cheese available too, so even if they think they can kill him off, they actually cannot. Trigger off that cheese. Now with a big silence over on 3 heroes. Envy still wants to chase it down. Wants to give his heroes also that bonus howl damage. Fate is desperately asking for it, and now VP, they turn back around. Yule sceptering the Gyrocopter up and towards the air. The Hawk stop, a little bit off target. The 4-star saving Fader for a moment. Turns on the flank cannon damage. Not enough to get a kill. Another defensive disruption with the Soul Rip. Can't keep Fader alive. BZZ with a double kill. The double buybacks, however, also coming out. Fader with a call down. He'll kill off the Razor, then moves over towards the Death Prophet. Should be able to claim this one too, with the Mystic Flare taking care of the center on the high ground. 3 heroes down for virtus.pro, and Fader's on the run, searching for the kill on Jotum. He won't have enough damage to get the kill, however. Bone 7 couldn't reach him in time. They triggered Dust just in case. Maybe they didn't see the TP out. Either way, Mirana is away to safety, and only the 2 supports from virtus.pro will survive through that. But it cost 3 buybacks from Cloud9. The only people that did not was the Dazzle on the Lycan.
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing was, due to the overextend committed by Cloud9 there for a second, after Envy died, they could have gotten completely wiped. And I actually think VP, Yo made a slight mistake there, because he disrupted one of his targets, one of his teammates, thinking that they were about to go down when they were in complete safety. So all it did was kind of like force a Yule Scepter on a target that could have actually casted more spells and had a more impact. In this case, I believe it was the Razor, and I think he still had a nuke up as well as the ability to hit some targets. But overall, like, Cloud9 just walking out too deep into that uncharted territory for a moment outside their base, and Envy dying like that was a really risky moment, because as soon as that happened, and if Veda didn't buy back and just TP in a very lucky moment, they would have gotten wiped and lost the base.
Yell's trying to keep Fade around for the moment. He's going to be careful to throw his life away. But the illusions are coming high ground. We've got the Lycan Wolves who are trying to defend for Cloud9 also on the top lane. And I think this is man mode time. Eternal Envy is the only person to build it 3 times. Gyro, Luna, and most recently the Invoker.
He did build it on Invoker against DK. Well, yeah, that's true.
Do you not know you're in team, Claire?
No, well, I don't know about the Luna. I think, wasn't that with maybe EG at Starladder or something? Seems like a way back. I don't recall any Rapier Lunas in recent times, that's for sure.
I have a small recollection, but I don't remember the game itself. And yes, it's man mode time.
Oh, it is. Here we go.
He had to. He really has to. Like, when you actually look at the golden experience advantage against newbie at WPC Ace. So
Newbie,
17,000 net
WPCs.
worth and 15,000 on the experience. It had Fader had to do this. There was no other choice. But it's gonna be a surprise. There's 2 heroes in the middle lane. He's starting the rocket over on Jotum. There's already the first slow coming on Seedoy. But they're definitely keeping him hidden for now.
Jotum has a BKB, Toby.
Why not?
Oh, that disruption came a little bit too late.
The hilarious thing is, so the BKB won't protect him from the gyrocopter. The second he turns on that flat cannon, he's going to lose all of his life points. He's only got 1,100 of them to start with.
Yeah, but you know what it does protect him from? It's that annoying rocket that's been killing him off every time.
That's true. But that's
just not all the rockets.
That's a small victory right there. You could have also built into a Yule Scepter to defend yourself there. Seedoy, gonna get slowed down here in the middle lane. That mid tower's on 2 life points. Dazzle just denied up. But Envy wants to go out for this. He doesn't have his Necro units. He had just lost them to the Razor on the bottom lane. The Razor also committed his Eye of the Storm to make sure he could keep one alive on the bottom lane.
Yeah, I think it was the right move. Like, because this Razor now, he has enough money for Shivas and buyback on top of that. So
Rod of Owie on God. They need more slows. Concussive shot. Yule Scepter up. This actually allows Cloud9 to move into a position to actually get the kill. The cooldown's already gone, but God's backing up while already Seedoy is trying to poke him through the middle. And BZZ and Yol are arriving in the bottom. 5 seconds on the Eye of the Storms off cooldown. Envy will run past Jotum in the middle lane. So they'll mop up the mid, but they've got to get to bottom lane very quickly. Owie's already dragging the creep wave off. But it really does feel like C9 are under siege on all 3 lanes right now.
Yeah, isn't this like the finest example of role reversal or something like that? Like, how often do you see Cloud9 just being poked and prodded on all corners?
They pinged out the Rapier. They're just controlling the gyrocopter for now. Fader also being slowed up with the Purge, and he just turns on the flat cannon, trying to kill off BZZ. It's a large amount of damage while up on top lane. The Shadow Demon got picked up by, well, actually, no, that was on the bottom lane. The gyrocopter went down. I thought there'd be some kind of kills up there. But the orb's flying out to Seedoy. BZZ, Mystic Flare! He walked straight through it. He had no choice with the way it was going. The mid-ranks is still not down yet. And C9 are defending on all sides at the moment. Envy's holding the top lane. He had to trigger his Necro units again. But Cloud9 having enough damage to repel the Razor push.
Yeah, it's just a rare case to see that Cloud9 are the one that are getting split pushed from all ends.
Ironic.
Yeah, very ironic. But they do defend successfully, kill the Razor and kill the Shadow Demon, which is really, really big at this stage. And it's not, I don't think they can walk out of their base anytime soon, because the pressure is just way too heavy for them to deal with anytime heroes are outside the base. Once again, their cores are really strong in the sense that Lycan and Gyro are big now. Even Bone 7 can do a little bit, but when it comes to pushing out waves, they don't have much solutions. So their presence inside the base is pretty much a necessity at all times at this point. And you see even this bottom, like he's starfalling in their faces and just getting out because he has the leave and no stunts, no real stunts to worry about.
The hilarious thing is, I kind of want to follow it on its entire track. The homing missile doesn't give up. No. It keeps going. And John, maybe you'll just wait in base for the entire time. But it just speeds up too. I love global abilities.
Toby has 7k gold in his bank. And buyback is ready.
7k? It's got 7.5k. What the hell is he buying? He just spent money. He's buying a refresher.
Refresher, yeah. It's going to be a cheaper refresher at this point. It looks like he opted for the latter, which is fine.
This just basically extends the VP's fight. As long as he can stay alive, it'll extend the fight. Now the SD, you'll set her up in towards the air, 4-staff away, and the Centaur ulti just lets him run away. The top lane's still being pressured in by the Crob. But they're going to try and ensure the kill over on Yol, so at least it's going to be a 4v5. The Ghost Scepter, Yol's really making him work for it. And they are working so hard for this. Both 7 and Eternal Envy committing for that, while Seedoy taking the mid base. They've got God outside the base, so Yule Scepter up again. Fader going to let the cooldown go. And the Yule Scepter now over on the center as well. Everyone's got the heads up in the clouds, but Seedoy losing a large amount of life. There goes your Mystic Flare. The Rod of Owie made sure he was going so slow that the connection was there. And now Centaur able to get himself Eternal Envy actually picking up the multiple kills there. Putting him 100 gold short of having the full Abyssal Blade.
I would imagine Seedoy should really look into a BKB by now. I mean, given his deaths in the last two scenarios.
Sorry! One hit removed about 300 and 350 life points from the Marana. Was one flat cannon hit. from Fader. And then the rocket connects and he goes down to 450. If he actually copped 3 of those flat cannon connections, he's dead right now.
Yeah.
Unless you BKBs, but you don't want to BKB to avoid a rocket. Come on.
Probably not. I wonder what VP are looking into for their timing. I mean, I see the Roshan being pinged out right now, but Eternal Envy's got some good vision coming out with his wolves scouting around the map rather. But like I don't really see what they want to do from this point on, because it should be pretty clear that this gyrocopter, you know, if he gets any bigger from this point on, he's going to be really hard to contest without hard disables. And when DP commits to that refresher orb, she's saying, I would rather have extended fights than try to have one engagement where I disable you and get you or something, because you might have buyback or something, even though it would be good enough for the rapier to just drop on the floor. So not too sure what kind of chaos they're looking to create, but looks like for now they're going to go for the Roshan, and that's going to be good because the Razor will finally be able to buy an item at this point with that Aegis if he chooses to pick it up.
Maybe finally finishing up that Assault Cuirass for his team, which still hasn't been done. They got double Shivas on this line, so if they build into a triple Shiva, then I'm just going to question life, universe, and everything.
Well, the thing with Shivas is he really likes that slow, but I think, yeah, with the double Shivas, 3 would be overkill, so I think he really does want to get AC. But he knows he wants the Aegis for sure. He wants to buy his items. Sitting on 7k, that's the second core in this game that has 7k banked without 6 slots. It's quite interesting.
Well, Fader's going to spend his money. Now we got Rapier Satanic. It's the classic build for a gyrocopter. The only thing he's missing right now is Butterfly.
Yeah. He needs to get disabled up badly. If he doesn't get disabled up, he will wipe everything.
Actually, when you think about it, like, what is there to remove that kind of, like, evasion? Because everyone built Hearts or BKBs or Mass Shivas. Death Prophet never went the side of Vice. They actually cannot remove the evasion from the gyro at the moment.
The sheep stick.
Like, is there a sheep? Am I tripping?
Well, you know, they haven't built it. That's the thing, though. Like, they really need sheep sticks.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like, the fact they build so many Shivas cards means they just sacrifice their Shivas, and Envy puts the Abyssal to work. Out to catch out Jottam in the tree line.
Cloud9, they're slowly crawling their way back into this game. It's just so ironic once again, because usually this is what happens to them when they're split pushing. Is that, like yesterday, for example, against PR, you know, PR just caught these kills one by one, and then all of a sudden they came back with this huge tinker.
SD's coming down here, but maybe not the wisest choice in the world. 4 staffs away, but hit by a concussive shot, and Bone 7, he won't get in range for the Rod of Atos to be used. But C9 are going to force the issue on bottom lane. There's still no Mirana, so there's no great initiation. I need to push the lanes. Envy also needs to get to this side shot to pick up a TP scroll before God just goes to town the top lane. It's got Refresher off cooldown in 44 seconds time. And actually, I say goes to town on the top lane, but like 2 hits from a flag cannon, and this creep wave is gone, including the catapults that were there with it. Now on bottom lane, they do find their opening. The seal's on BZZ. The Wolves are thinking about attacking him. The decay hits on Diol. And then a quick blink away by the Undying. She thinks he went down, but a bonus Devon actually went up and to the top right. That's where my camera went. I thought he was going to just drop down. But, yep, C9 will back up. I think Eternal Envy is also realizing he still has just a TP scroll, and this is a bad thing.
I saw Bone just sell an item for about 1100 gold, but he had all slots available. So, oh, he sold the Blade Mail for a TP. Okay.
Nah, the Blade Mail is at a point right now where it's completely useless. Yep. If he actually can pick up a Plate Mail, then...
That's an upgrade from Blade Mail to Plate Mail. Not gold-wise, though.
Yeah, gold-wise it's not, but it allows him to at least build into the Shiva's Guard, which currently doesn't exist on the Cloud9 lineup.
Yeah, and they really want one of those.
They found Yol. Concussive shot, but look back in middle lane. Seedoy, chip damage into the range ranks. He got a rocket coming his way. God will trigger his ulti too, but Envy just runs in. He got defensively, he actually got, disrupted up by Yol, so he can't initiate straight away. And now there's more Envies facing up against Envy. While on bottom lane, BZZ try to breach in. The fortification will be used, and they're going to try and deal with the Razor to start with. Bone 7 will drop the tombstone down. But Envy, he can't really find now. He's trying to find the opening, but the mid-ranks range has already gone down. The tier 3 tower is held, and really, VP, they're pushing C9 everywhere. 4 staff away from Yol, allows him to escape. The orb damage is not enough. He pops the cheese to stay alive, while on the bottom lane, this Eye of the Storm from BZZ has done its job. He's trying to finish up the melee racks. but hasn't got it just yet. A little bit further up, Pilot is running away from Seedoy. And do they have enough control? BZZ, 4-staff down. The mid-rank's being attacked. Now in comes Fader. For all the damage he's got, he doesn't have the ability to reposition. The top rank's being beaten down by Seedoy. They focus on the range ranks, and God's using his ultimate to bring down the melee. They're slowing him down. The Rod of Aoi, Yule Scepter up. He'll evade the concussive shot, but there's still another Mystic Flare available here for Pylai Die. They need him to be stopped, though. Yule Scepter up. Drop the Mystic Flare, Pi. He's holding onto it. God, he's still alive. Now the Mystic Flare will burn through him. And, well, the Crop will drop. But the damage reports come in. The melee ranks and range ranks gone the mid. The melee ranks surviving up on top, but the range is gone. And the melee ranks surviving on the bottom. But the range is gone.
Yeah. Picked apart. Simply put. Don't know what else to say. I've never seen VP play like this. They're evolving at such a fast rate that I can't seem to fathom what's going on with their lineup. They're looking like a really good team at this point.
Centaur's now got the perfect hit up against Envy. Like, Envy's still running around with no BKB, but he's still got the Abyssal Blade now arriving. I'm seeing an Eagle Song also flying out. The Gyro, he actually has BTs as well as Tread. So he's going to BT himself in towards the mid lane, drop the BTs, and then pick up the Eagle Song. This is a GG push. The Crob's on the sideline. Does she have buyback? Yes, she does. And there it already comes. And C9, do they still want to commit to this? It looks like the answer is yes, but then again, the Eagle Song. Where the hell is this thing? Was it even his? Yol caught out. They'd run in. Bone 7, first one to get arrowed. Yol being Abyssal Bladed up. The Ghost Step is going to protect him for the moment. And, well, they've still got the range ranks here in the middle lane they're considering to bring down, but this is meant to be a push for a tier 4 tower. And somehow VP, with a Moonlight Shadow, is forcing him to run every other which way. BZZ triggers the BKB. The Mystic Flare was killing him off, but now Fader turns on his own BKB. Pylai Die already on the sideline. The Eye of the Storm from BZZ doing its work, but he will go down to Fader's DPS. And he's looking towards Seedoy. Rocket Barrage, the Abyssal Blade from Seedoy, stopping Fader's basic attacks in. No, there is buybase coming out from the Like, and Seedoy will stick with him for the moment. Hoof Stomp up on the high ground, battling up against Bone 7. Fader needs to get back over here while he's just firing rockets back over towards the virtus.pro lineup, who in 10 seconds time will have another exorcism anyway, because the refresher orb's coming off cooldown. They jump in. Rod of Aoi on Yol. The arrow will fly. Too early though. Hoof Stomp missing its mark with the Yule Scepter sending him up and towards the air. Bone 7 protecting himself from danger. And now Envy looking at the tier 4 towers. There is no Razor. His buyback is on cooldown. Seedoy runs out. Triple Necro units being purchased up by God. And now he runs himself back, looking for some kind of opening. Envy can't find anything. He's actually got a Mask of Madness over on this damn wolf. He's gone crazy with the wolf, looking for that kind of opening. But the exorcism back up again. So C9 will in fact back up, not getting hit by this arrow. Fader's not looking too healthy, and he's got to protect this rapier, and that's who they want. He turns, the cooldown, not available. He's short the mana, but Envy finds Yol, the rocket, already going to connect on him. He'll go down, while the Crop ulti doing some work in mid, searching for Bone 7. Fader, Seedoy, try and bring him down. Fader, he's got enough life points once he turns on. That's Satanic, the arrow that was going to stop him.
Oh my God.
This could be big. This could be the rapier. This could be GG right now, and there it is. The call is made. The tier 4 towers are under siege. Fader needed to survive with that rapier to have any hope of winning this game, but virtus.pro, patience pays off, and they take the victory, as well as the extra rapier into the Centaur at the last moment, just to enjoy the moment. But that is only game number 1 of our 2-game series of VP versus C9. What a fun end, and that was actually a double rapier Centaur at the end. He bought his own fresh one as well as the steel.
You know, I can't help but put it this way. That was actually a very, very entertaining game, and it's unfortunate that Cloud9 lost, but I'm quite delighted to see how VP played it. That was beautiful how they handled that situation.
Well, I don't think Cloud9 fans are going to see this beautiful, but VP fans definitely can, as VP will take game number 1 victory. They'll come back after a short beverage break, and we will see them return and see if VP can actually, well, get the same points, if not higher than Cloud9. With that victory, actually, Cloud9 is pushed to the bottom of the group stage here for the D2CL, which means no qualifying for the land finals unless they can get themselves a win back here, as VP go 2-3 and Cloud9 go 1-4. How will it all turn out? Stay tuned, you'll find out together.